Hello, everyone, and welcome to our first workshop on fear. My name is Xiomara Machado. I'm also known as Coach Xio, and today we're going to talk about what is fear. Like I told you, this is one of 3 workshops that we're going to be talking about fear. But before we start, I just want to talk a little bit about myself, a little bit about me. My name, like I said, is Xiomara Machado, also known as Coach Xio. I have a master's in counseling with over 15 years of experience, either as an educator, a clinical counselor, or a school counselor. I'm also certified as a health and life coach by the International Coaching Federation, and that's actually what I'm doing now. This is my business and my full-time job. I'm also a mother of a beautiful 3-year-old toddler. He's almost 4 now, and I am a wife. My husband and I have been married now for 10 years this last summer. So before I start, I want to talk a little bit about what are the areas or the topics we'll be talking in this workshop. So here we have the content. Like I said, this is one of the 3 workshops we're going to be talking about fear. And I did it like that because there's a theory, and we as behavioral specialists and as a coach, we know that people need to learn small skills and do little habit change one at a time to be able to make those changes permanent in their behaviors. So I decided to talk about fear, and we're going to divide the topic in 3. So that way it's easier for everybody, and we make sure that you are learning and you're applying what we learn. So first, we're going to have a little bit of an introduction. Then we're going to talk a little bit more of what is fear, what are the fear's effects, the first step to take control of fear. Then we're going to have a little bit of a practice. And at the end, I would love to share with you the benefits of coaching, which that's why I decided to change my career to coaching, because I feel it's a little bit more effective on behavioral changes. So introduction, I want you to think first. Let's take a moment, and I want you to step back for a moment, take a deep breath. We're talking about fear, and I want you to think if you have ever felt fear. Chances are, if you're a human being, you have many times in your life. Now the question is, are you currently experiencing fear in an area of your life, or maybe in several areas? Is that fear stopping you from reaching your goals? Or maybe not doing what your heart desires? I want you to think about it a little bit. I want to talk a little bit about what happened to me, one of my experiences with fear, right? And I put here as an example, fear of going down the stairs of my house. About 2.5 years ago, I had a fall, a really nasty fall on the stairs of my house. And in the process of falling, I hit my head. Like it was a really hard blow to my head what I received when I was falling down. When that happened, that caused for me to have a severe concussion. The next day after my fall, I couldn't talk. It took me about 5 to 6 minutes to say 3 words, one after the other. And I was in bed for 2 months. I couldn't walk either. So it was a really tough moment in my life. And through that stage and that process, I had to live with that concussion. I had to face fear in many different ways that I haven't faced fear before. So you can imagine how hard it was for me to go down the stairs of my house, which that's where my bedroom is, upstairs, every day after that fall. So I had to be able to confront fear, to face my fears, to feel fear, and take control of it too. So I just wanted to share that experience for you to relate a little bit. And because I asked you to think about moments in your life where fear was there, maybe the fear was extremely big, the feeling you had of fear at those times, like I did when I fell from the stairs of my house, and every time I had to go down the stairs or up the stairs in my house. I still had to confront that fear, but in the positives, I learned that, you know, you have to look where you're stepping every time you go down the stairs. And also you have to be very careful what you wear and how you hold your clothes every time you go up and down the stairs. So it was a positive, right? In that experience. So in order for me to be able to conquer fear and now go up and down my stairs without having panic attacks or being like very, very fearful, I had to conquer fear. And the way I did it was by changing my mentality, which means the way I think about fear and also my perspective, the way I see fear. And today I am inviting you to join me in that process. And it's a change. It's going to be a change of mentality and perspective. But if you're here, I know it's because you're ready and that's what you want to do. So I'm asking you, are you ready for this change? Are we going to jump in? Yay! I know you are because you're here. Again, to conquer fear, we need to change the way we see it and the way we understand it. And that's why you need to know and understand fear. Like people say, oh, you need to understand and know your enemy in order to defeat it. It's the same with fear. The more you know about fear, the more equipped you will be to face and manage your fears. It's like any emotion. It could be anger, it could be happiness, extreme joy. You need to learn how to manage them. Because if you're angry and you don't manage your anger, you're going to destroy everything around you. And if you're extremely joyous and you're jumping up and down, you're probably going to destroy everything around you too. So fear is an emotion as joy and anger are. And all of them require from us to learn from them, to know them, to be able to manage them. So let's dig a little bit deeper in what is fear. Fear, first of all, is a vital and important emotion for human survival. We need fear. As the saying that we need joy, we need sadness, we need excitement, and we need frustration. Every emotion has an important role in our lives. They're here to serve us, and we're not supposed to serve them. Okay, so emotions are supposed to serve us, and we're supposed to learn how to manage them so we can benefit from our emotions. Emotions like fear should be temporary and not permanent. So I was giving an example the other day with the other workshop. If you're feeling sadness, for example, you can feel sad for 1-2 hours, a whole day, maybe the next day, or maybe a week. That is totally normal. Emotions are important because they connect us with life. Emotions are the way we express our what we are feeling in our soul, in our mind, and everything we are, and it helps us connect with life. And the same way, emotions are the way that we can express other people that we love them and how we feel. But they should be temporary. So if you have an emotion like sadness that lasts maybe 2 weeks, there's a problem there. That means that you're not processing, you're not facing that emotion and working with it appropriately. And you need to be able to do that to manage it. You need to do that. You need to manage your emotions. Sorry, I got distracted for a moment. To be able to conquer that emotion. I was giving another example, like if fear surpasses 2 weeks, then you have to look for professional help, because that means that you're falling into something that in the clinical area we call dysthymia, which is a prolonged sadness. And human beings are not supposed to feel emotions for so long, even joy. You could feel joyful and happy, but usually we feel content every day. We feel joyful and happy at some points during the day, but we're not like that all the time, we usually are content. So when you have an emotion that is prolonging for too much, you need to look for help to manage it. Emotions are not feelings. A lot of people confuse both emotions and feelings, and they think that they're the same thing. Feelings are based on ideas and thought structure. For example, patriotism. Like when I see a Puerto Rican flag, I get excited. There's a lot of emotion that start flourishing in my life. And I start thinking about the songs that people sing to that flag, or poems, literature, stories. I think of my grandparents. I think about my land. I might be happy when I think about it. And I also might feel sad or nostalgic because I am far away and I miss it. So patriotism, it's a feeling which has a lot of memories, thoughts, thought structure that they're basing those emotions that I'm feeling. And those are permanent because it doesn't matter where I am. I am always going to feel the same way when I see the Puerto Rican flag. But again, those are permanent and emotions are not. So just for you to have an idea, if you are struggling with emotions that are being now permanent and you're creating behaviors and lifestyles around that emotion, it could be fear, it could be sadness, you need to get help because that means that things are not uh, emotions are not being handled appropriately. Okay. Like I said, fear is very vital because it's like an alarm in humans and in animals. It alerts us from danger, the possibility of getting hurt, devoured, mutilated, or even dying. So fear shouldn't be your enemy because it's not. Fear is your friend. The problem is when we think that fear is our enemy, we treat it as such. But if we start thinking fear as our ally, the one that protects us, that shows us where is trouble or that where there could be danger that could hurt us, then we start seeing fear in another way. And that's why I was saying we need to change the way we see fear and the way we understand fear. Because fear is our friend, as joy is and sadness too. Because without fear, we will be incapable of distinguishing if a situation could harm or kill us. And that's something very important. If we wouldn't have fear, probably I wouldn't be here, or any of you that are watching this would be here, because we wouldn't stop when we should have stopped, right? Again, fear is an important and vital emotion for our survival, even if it's uncomfortable or unpleasant. We don't like to feel fear, but it's very important. Like I said, it's not how the problem is not fear. The problem is how you manage fear. Okay? I'm going to say it again. The problem is not fear. It's how you manage fear. And we need to be responsible as we grow up as adults and understand who we are to be able to make better decisions in our lives. So I want to talk a little bit about the difference between tangible fear and abstract fear. Because we as humans, we have a lot of the abstract fear going on and more than the tangible fears every day. Our minds react the same way to both of them, to tangible fear and abstract fear, because it doesn't know the difference between them. So I'm going to explain a little bit more about it. Let me switch this here. Perfect. So tangible fear is the one that alerts us of physical harm, like falling from a precipice. So every time you're physically in danger, you're in a place where you could be harmed. Maybe there's a fire, or there's an alarm saying that you have to go somewhere else, or maybe you're walking to a dead end and it's solitary and it's dark. Your mind is going to alert you that it could be a dangerous place for you, that there could be danger, that you could be harmed. Now, abstract fear is when our minds perceives danger. So that's different. There's no physical danger, but you're thinking, you're perceiving, your mind is thinking there is danger. For example, like I could think if I go out, I'll be infected with COVID-19. So I'm not going to go out the house, not even a single second, because I'm going to get infected with COVID-19. Just to take an example of our present and daily situation. That is a lie. Just because I walk out of my house doesn't mean I'm going to get infected. But that's a danger that my mind is perceiving due to the news we're seeing, what we're hearing, what we're perceiving from around us. Our mind is saying, wait, danger, don't do this. So in that case, that fear is not allowing us to live freely, we could say, or in a healthy way. Okay. Another example of abstract fear could be that you're going to your first date, right? How many of you have gone to a first date? So when you go to your first date, you're probably thinking, okay, what am I gonna wear? Am I gonna look like this or that? What is that person gonna think about me? Okay, what am I gonna say? Okay, when I'm eating, am I gonna eat too fast? Am I gonna eat too slow? Everything is that your mind is perceiving and thinking what's gonna happen, and you don't want to get harm in your heart and your emotions. So you are fearing to be rejected. So it's a fear of getting harmed, but in your heart, right? And you're perceiving there's danger of going to that first date. So you're not relaxed, you're stressed, and you're like, ah. So all of that those are examples of fears that we have that are abstract. And like I told you, your mind doesn't distinguish between tangible and abstract fears. So it's gonna react to it the same way. And as coaches, we work a lot with abstract fear because those are the ones that we need to allow ourselves to feel and confront to be able to achieve our goals. Most of us are not achieving our goals and doing what we want or would love to do just because of abstract fears. What we think might happen, not what is actually happening. So if you think about those times, right, when fear, abstract fear is affecting you, can you think of in what ways fear is affecting you? For example, every time I have to do something that I feel fear, abstract fear, my stomach, it's out of control, or I get queasy in my stomach. I get nervous. I get cold hands and feet. My palpitations go like faster. So all of those are signs of fear. And a lot of the things that I have to work on is in my mind. I have to, because the thought comes to my mind, oh, you're gonna fail, it's not gonna work, you're gonna ruin it. Oh, what happens if this or that? Oh, they're gonna be looking. Oh, what if there's people that know more than you? Blah blah. So all of that comes to your mind, and I need to take control of it. So these are some examples of how fear affects us. So it could paralyze you. It could increase the levels of stress because again, fear was meant for our survival, like if something was going to kill us. So our body needs to stop everything and focus all the energy on the stress, on your heart, so it pumps faster the blood, so you can run away from that is going to hurt you. So even if it's abstract fear, our minds are going to react the same way. You're going to have an increased heart rate. You will probably won't be able to sleep well because you're in alert mode. It might change your sleeping patterns, especially if that fear is prolonged. Affects digestion. You might have compulsive thoughts, anxiety. That's what we call anxiety when you have compulsive thoughts that you cannot gain control of them on a certain or a specific topic, right? It closes us up and we want to be open. We just close down and we feel like dying or trapped. So those are some examples. And I want you to think, how does fear affect you? Can you think of other effects of fear? Physical, emotional, mental effects? This is very important because you need to know how fear shows up in you. Because once you see the first signs, you can start dealing with it. It's the same with anger. anger management. You have to notice those first signs before you get up there and you're out of control. So what are the first signs of fear within you personally? How does fear affect you personally? Because we all experience fear in different ways. And it's very important for you to know how it does affect you. So like I told you at the beginning, in order to be able to manage fear, we need to know it, and we need to change our perspective and the way we see it and the way we think about it, about fear, our mentality. And I hope after this first part that we were talking about, you gain a little bit more insight on fear and know that fear is here for you to protect you and help you not get in dangerous situations. And the reason why you have fear of things that are maybe benefit for you is because the mind does not distinguish between the fear that perceives and the physical fear. So you are the one who can help your mind calm down, focus, and let me go on, right? And that's what we're going to start learning through these workshops. So finally, what is the first step to take control of fear? The first thing you have to do once you feel fear, those first signs of fear, is to stop and confront your fear. It's like stopping and looking at fear in the face, because that will cause you to stop running away from fear. Because if you're just running away and you're not confronting it, you will just handle more control and more power of that emotion of fear upon yourself instead of you having control of it. When you run away, you're not dealing with fear, it's having all the power. And that's why the first thing you have to do is, once you feel it, stop and look at it in the face. And when I say that, it means that you have to feel your fear, because you need to. There's a famous quote in English. Oh man, how does it say? That it said that, let fear come to me, I'll embrace fear, I'll let it pass through me, so it goes away. And I love that, because the whole thing that the quote is trying to say is what we're talking about. We need to let fear, we need to feel it, not be running away from it. Like we don't fear joy, right? We let it be here. We're not supposed to, right? I know some people learn to limit that, and that's another topic, right? But you need to let that emotion, to let it be, because fear is expressing itself. It's letting you know something, and you just need to listen to it and address it, and then it will go away. And I love that quote. I always remember it. So in case you have a chronic or irrational fear, that is different. If you know that you have a chronic or irrational fears, it is very important for you to seek professional help. Here we're talking about the fears that limit you from being the person you want to be, the fears that are limiting you from reaching your goals, those abstract fears that we have that are not allowing us to be the person you should be, right? But if they're very rooted, like deep rooted fears, it's very important for you to look for help. And if you have any questions or doubt, if that's a fear, you should look for other professionals in the area of the clinical mental health. That's something that I could help you figure out too, okay? So after you confront fear, after you look at it in the face and you're allowing yourself to feel it, the first thing you have to do after that is to let your mind know that everything is okay. Remember, when your mind perceives fear, you're feeling, that's the alert that gives your nervous system to activate everything in your body. And you need to let your mind know, wait, there's no danger, relax. It's okay. There is no mortal danger. I'm not dying here. Hello. You need to let that, your mind know. You need to take control of it. And it's very important after that, you apply a relaxation technique to calm your nervous system. You need to calm your nervous system to gain control of your body first. Because if you're like this, you're not going to be able to think straight, right? So one of the most basic techniques and one of the most effective techniques to first take control of fear is deep breathing. And we're going to practice today a deep breathing technique there's a lot of techniques, but we're going to practice one of them, and you're going to see the difference of how your body starts calming down after that, after you do the technique. When you relax your nervous system, that as a result, you will be able to give more power to your mind instead of your emotions. And I want to make a point here. It is humanly impossible to make a decision without emotions. And that is a concept that most people think, that they cannot have emotions to make decisions. They have to be completely unbiased, and that is impossible. What you need to do is to take control of your emotions to give more power to your mind. And that is the key, because you are a whole person with emotions and with rationale, and you need them both to make decisions. But it's very important that this one has more power instead of your emotion when you're making those decisions, right? Like, remember, this is just the first step to take control of your fears. And in the other workshops, we're going to explain the next steps. We're going to go deeper on the monologue of fear. So let's go here. Today, I wanted to practice, like I told you, deep breathing technique. Because once you feel fear, you're going to confront it. You're going to let your mind know that everything is okay. And after that, you're going to do a relaxation technique to take control of that fear. I do this all the time. Deep breathing, it's my thing to go, especially when I have to do a workshop or go into a situation that I'm feeling it like, and I do it. So today we're going to practice the technique 5-7-5. That's the name of the technique, 5-7-5. And it's called 5-7-5 because you inhale by 5 seconds. You're going to then hold your breath for 7 seconds, and then you're going to exhale for 5 seconds. When you do this, you're affecting your nervous system, and you're sending a signal for your nervous system to calm down, saying to your nervous system, there is no danger. So before we start, I want to talk about how I applied a different technique. It still has to do with breathing when I had children, right? When children were fighting, or in the classroom, they're having arguments, or they came to my room after lunch break. I had a class and they were like, all over the place. They couldn't calm down. Or maybe I had a therapy session with a child or more than one child, and they were very nervous or tense. One of the things that I used to do, and it always worked, and it's miraculous, was to tell them to hold their breath. Okay, because if you tell them, okay, let's do a competition, who can hold their breath first? Kids love competition. So they went and like holding the breath, and you can see them doing faces, trying to make the other person smile, and it just changed the whole environment. It switched their perspective and the way they were feeling. And when you hold your breath, your brain starts sending a signal to your body to calm down, calm everything down, because we don't have oxygen. So it immediately relaxes everything. So if you have your children fighting at home, try that. Usually it works. Or if you need to do a mediation between kids, is the best way to relax them, so they have a different approach to the topic after they do the exercise. Okay, so we're gonna practice the 5-7-5, and it goes like this. You have to breathe for 5, hold it for 7, and exhale for 5. I like to breathe through my nose and inhale and exhale through my mouth, because I feel I have more control of it, and it focuses everything there. So I want you to practice it with me. And when we do it, if you want to relax, try to put your shoulders relaxed, relax your body. If you want to close your eyes while you do it, that's great. So just focus on my voice. And remember, we're going to inhale for 5, hold it for 7, and exhale for 5. Are you ready? Let's go. So let's inhale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hold it. 2, 3, 4, 5. 6, 7. Exhale. 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, let's do it again. Let's start at 3. Okay, I'm going to count up to 3, and then we're going to inhale. 1, 2, and 3. Inhale. 2, 3, 4, 5. Hold it. 6. We got it. 3, 2, 1, 0. And let's take it out for 5. I messed up, but you got it. So it goes like this. Gonna do it again. I might go over the counting, but you got the idea. If you focus on your body, you would notice the difference when we started with the topic and how you're feeling right now. Okay? So I want you to practice this whole week this technique 5-7-5 every time you feel fear. And remember that this first step is just to stop, look at fear in the face, feel it, and start telling your mind it's okay, you're not in danger, everything is gonna be fine, and start breathing. Until you feel you're in control of it. Okay? Oops. Before I go into the benefits of coaching, I wanted to ask if there are any questions for the people who are watching. No? We're good? Yay! Okay. So benefits of coaching. Like I told you, I'm a health and life coach. And the good thing of coaching is that it has personalized strategies. So if you were with me because you wanted to have a program focused on stress relief, I would create a personalized plan within the 4 areas of relaxation and based on your needs. Like I told you, deep breathing is just one of the 4 areas and it's one of the basic ones. But even though it's a basic technique, deep breathing, it doesn't mean that everybody will benefit from the same techniques. For example, we just did the 5-7-5 and it could work for you and it could not work for you. You might feel holding your breath for 7 seconds is too much, or breathing in for 5 seconds is too much. So it depends how you are and what are your needs and your personality and your experiences, which technique is going to be better for you. So when you have a coach, we'll explore those areas and look what are the things that help you relax and take control of the stress. And not only in breathing, but in all the other areas of your life, like nourishing your soul, for example. You're not alone in the process when you have a coach. One of the things that it's hard for us to do, things that are new in our lives, is because, or maybe because they're challenging, is when we're alone and we have to face it alone. We have to figure out all by ourselves. When you have a coach, you don't have to do that because they're there for you. They're experienced. I'm experienced and have knowledge. And if I don't have the knowledge, believe me, we'll look for someone who does. So again, a coach, it's a journey that you go to change things in your life with a person that it's capable and knowledgeable of the topic to help you out. And if not, a coach will always tell you if they're not, because they're looking for your benefit, for you to be able to improve and have the best experience in your life. If you were with me, we will work with the 3 pillars that create success. And that is having the right system. That is a step-by-step plan that we create together. That is not something that I say, okay, this is what you're gonna do. You're gonna follow this diet. No, we have a conversation. We know each other and we based every step of the way depending on your needs and what you wanna do and feel comfortable doing, because this is your journey. And I'm just joining you in your journey as a coach. You will also have the right accountability. You have to have an accountability system to be able to follow through the steps and what you want to do. Everybody knows, like, I think I've heard this from everybody, like when you want to start exercising and you're with a buddy or a partner, You don't want to disappoint your partner. Even if that day you're waking up like, I don't want to exercise. You're going to do it because that person is waiting for you. So the accountability part is helping you reach your goals and not flunk in the process, right? At the same time, the right support is very important because you need to feel the support that somebody's there for you if you need them. If you were my client, you will have me every day through text or email or maybe calls. It's something that we agree on, and I will help you for all those questions that arise or all those conflicts or problems that might arise during the week, and be there just for you and making sure that you reach your goals. Habit change, like I talked to you in the beginning, are made gradually, and that's the way that you create permanent change. So as a life coach and a health coach, I will guide you to create habit changes that are little, but it will help you go one step at a time to create a massive change and permanent change, which is the important part, that those changes are permanent. That's what we want. A lot of people do diet, and like we know, when you start a diet, you have to do a lot of change really fast. It's crazy the amount of change that you have to do, and by the end, you might not be following through. You might have great results at the beginning, and then you're probably going to be back in the same place where you started, or maybe worse. Usually it's worse. And it's because you're taking big steps and it's too much for your mind to take control of and change. So that's why it's better to do small changes, but they're leading you to reach your goals. Okay. For those who attended today, you have a 20% discount if you want to sign up. You have until the next day after workshop 3 about fear to sign up and have a 20% off. And remember to tell me, hey, I have the code. The code is no to fear. I also have your names for those who are registered and for the workshops. And for all the people who are attending to the workshop, I'm going to do a raffle. We're going to put all the names and get some names out, and I'm going to be giving for free a target focus program, which means that you're going to have 6 sessions with me, including a discovery session. So that means 6 sessions with Coach CEO for free for those who are attending and participating in my workshop. Woo-hoo. So make sure the more you're in my workshops, the more you're going to have your name drawn into the raffle. Okay, if we don't have any questions or comments. Very good. Okay, if we're good to go, thank you for being here. Remember that next week we'll be talking a little bit of how to recognize the monologue of fear. And you can contact me at info@coachceo.com. I also have a webpage. It's coachceo.com. And I have a Facebook page, which is Coach CEO FB, like Facebook, Coach CEO FB. You can find me there. coachceo.com for my website, or info@coachceo.com. If you have any questions about today's topic, please feel free to contact me because I'm here for you. And remember, breathe. Bye. Okay, stop recording.